Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. This is Mike, and this is Mike Dell's World, number 401. What is the date today? Oh, it's the 1st of March, 2025. So since I haven't had an episode this year yet, happy 2025. So my year got off to kind of a crazy start. Crazy meaning, a little stress, a lot of big life change things happening. So I guess I'll give you kind of the rundown of what's been going on. So I guess that's what this is for. Thanks for staying subscribed and following and whatever else they call it these days. I do consistently on Podcast Insider, or somewhat consistently. And, of course, this one's just once in a while. But like I said, I appreciate you staying subscribed. So I don't know if I said anything in previous episodes, but my dad was having a little fight with lung cancer. Not a little fight, a big fight. And ultimately, he lost that fight at the beginning of December. And he was doing reasonably well up until the last probably month or so, something like that, where, he just got to the point where he couldn't do things he wanted to do. He wasn't in any particular pain or anything. So I guess that's a good thing. But anyway, we were all there when he passed, the whole family. And like I said, it was quite peaceful, but it's always hard to take. He made it to 79. He was about 8 months short of his 80th birthday, which would have been at the beginning of May this year. And along with that, and I don't want to gloss over that, but you don't want to hear sob stories. You're all familiar with losing people, so But as an upshot of that, we had a lot more snow this year so far, and it's still continuing a little bit. It started snowing, I believe, right around Thanksgiving, and we had accumulating snow just about every day up until last week. So it's been maybe, a week and a half probably by now, where we haven't had any major snow. At least not enough to have to plow, but I was plowing twice a day. So I go out, plow my mom out, and then put the tractor on the trailer and bring it in here and plow out us. And then the last couple of times, my sister over in Interlaken, which is not too far away, and I've been plowing her out as well. Her snowblower broke, and I haven't got around to fixing it yet. I've been busy with other things, but that was one of the major stressors this season. It's just snow's good. I don't mind snow, but this year it was just so frequent. I enjoy going out and plowing the snow. That's fun. Big snow blower and a cab on the tractor, and you get to play with power tools. It's fun, but it definitely gets old after a while. But I think now the rest of the year, if we get any big snow, it's going to be once in a while. Of course, we could potentially have snow all the way up until June, really, but it doesn't usually happen that way. Usually by April, it's completely done with the snow, but there's always a chance. But hopefully not a chance of snow so big that we got to go plow it. So that's the hope anyway. So along with that, I inherited my dad's pickup truck, and that's come in handy, hauling the tractor back and forth. Of course, my truck was fine too, but I did end up selling that because, I have two big trucks sitting in the yard. This one's a 2020 Toyota Tundra that didn't have a whole lot of miles on it. He didn't drive it a whole lot. I drove it a lot, but he didn't put a lot of miles on it, I guess is the right way to put it. So I got a pretty whiz-bang truck. It's, rather he drive it, but since that's not a thing, I drive it. So that works out pretty good that way. And then on top of that, about it was around Christmas time, I guess. Was it? Yeah, it was around Christmas time. We had two beagles. We had Benny, who we still have, and Percy, which we no longer have. And what happened was, at some point on Christmas, Percy sort of snapped and decided he wanted to kill his brother. And we don't know exactly what happened, but the vet, well, first off, Percy had epilepsy ever since we got him. We got him as a rescue. He was a year old. And, he'd have a seizure about once a month, and, it wasn't super terrible or anything like that. And we were just keeping an eye on it, keeping track of it. Never had him on any medication or anything. So anyway, he just literally tried to kill the other dog. We thought, okay, they just got in a spat and it went too far. Benny got bit up a little bit, his ears, whatnot, and Percy too. They both sort of, just a normal spat, and they've had those before, so I didn't think too much of it. And maybe a week or so later, they got into another one, and I mean, this one was terrible. I mean, I had to hold back the dogs, and I mean, they were just completely and utterly trying to kill each other. And so we figured, maybe they just need some time apart. Kathy needed to go down to her mom's house, and so she took Percy. So Benny, recovered at home. He had to get his spots shaved where he got bit. Didn't have any stitches on that one, but, they had to be shaved and healed. And so she was gone about a week, 10 days, something like that. And we figured, okay, we'll reintroduce them. So we were careful and we got muzzles and reintroduced them, and they got along fine for a little bit, and everything was copacetic. And that night we're sitting there, and one of the dogs let out a little bit of a growl, and the fight was on. And I mean, that was the worst one. And it was, Percy was just trying to kill Benny. And, at that point it was like, well, there's not a whole lot we can do. We'll try. So we separated them. So Benny ended up going to the emergency vet and getting stitches, and he was bit up pretty good. So he lived in my office here, which is a little separate building in my backyard. And we kept them apart for probably a week. And after that week, we just decided, we tried to maybe get some advice and whatnot. There was nothing medically wrong with Percy. We had two different vets look at him and say, well, they figure something must have just went wrong in his brain because of the seizures, maybe. So anyway, unfortunately, Percy had to be put down. So that was another stressor, because, you don't want to pass your problems off to another person, like we, brought him back to the Beagle rescue, who knows who else he'd snap on, and you just can't have a dog that has that vicious tendency around. So that was extremely sad and stressful, and on top of that, we still got the snow happening. I'm plowing every other day. It's cold. It's, snow's building up. It just, the stress was just, all the above, So that's been my winter. And now things are calming down somewhat. Like I said, not as much snow removal. Now we don't have two dogs trying to kill each other, and, Benny's all healed up and doing good and all that. But, just those kind of things just drive you crazy. And there's just, you feel so helpless because, you're trying to reason with a dog and just all the stuff happening. So anyway, that's been my my year so far. But it is getting better, and the weather's starting to get a little better sometimes. Last week we had 40 and even one day of 50 degrees, and we lost probably 3/4 of our snow. Traverse City, let's see what the current snowfall is, because we did have some last night. I got it here somewhere. Snowfall information from National Weather Service in Gaylord, Michigan. And let's see. So for Traverse City, season to date, 129.6 inches. Normal to date is 84.7, so we're 153% of normal, which normal for the entire season is 101 inches. So we're not, exactly on a record-setting year here, because the record was in 1995-96 snow season had 191.2 inches. I guess I remember that. I don't know. It's been a while. So, we've had way more snow than normal, but again, we had that nice warm up last week, so it knocked down the snowbanks to a reasonable level. And one bad thing, though, is it melted my driveway down to gravel. So plowing it isn't going to be as fun if I have to do it anymore this year. Same out at Mom's place. So I guess we'll make it happen. But let's see what else has been going on. Of course, I how do you put it? Reinvigorated my flying. The last couple of years, I've been flying a RV-12 IS. It's a light sport aircraft over at Giving Wings Aviation, and been having a lot of fun with that. But had to quit, with the all the stressors. I quit flying for a while here, so I'll get back at it this spring when the weather's a little better. Had a few nice weather days, but I want to get back to it. That's a lot of fun, but you don't want to be up there all stressed out. So it's just as well. Kathy's doing fine. Health-wise, we're both doing fine. That's all good. Work's doing fine. Staying busy over at Blueberry. You want to check us out over at blueberry.com. That's Blueberry with no E's. And, of course, they sort of sponsor this show only because I get free hosting since I work there. So, anyway, so that's just the quick life update. Sorry I'm not more prolific here on this feed, but I do appreciate you guys sticking around. I know I say that every time, but it is what it is. And didn't really want to get too deep into anything, but let me know what's going on in your lives. I know a few of you guys that are still listening, haven't really heard much, haven't really said much, haven't really done much with this. I love getting on the microphone, but, sometimes when you have way too much stuff going on and you don't want to overshare, that's part of the problem, and then this time of year, it's always funny because, you've been cooped up or out in the weather all the time. So the weather's crappy. You can't do what you want to do. You got all these little projects stacking up, and I'm saying, I want to do X, Y, and Z. As soon as spring hits, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go do this other thing, get all these projects done. And then when the time comes, you never get the projects done. Well, we'll see. I did get one big project done before winter hit. I ran a conduit from my office out here to the house so I could run, my internet wires. And I'm going to run another power line out here for a ham radio amplifier that requires 220. So I'm going to run another 220 power line. But I did a 3-inch conduit, a 3-inch PVC pipe that goes from my office out here into the basement. So, and then I put a rope through it that's long enough to where I can loop something on it, pull the rope through to pull a piece of wire through, whatever, or a piece of coax, or, some Cat 6 cable. That's the only thing in it right now. The power line's buried elsewhere, coming out here, but the new 220 line's going to come through the conduit. So I did get that done. That wasn't a lot of work, but dig a trench, 30-foot long trench, and and at the office side, I had to kind of make an S turn and put one of those capped throughput and cut a hole in the side and all that. But it's all done, and now everything's all protected. At least my internet cable. When I first built this place, I put a supposedly underground Cat 5 cable for the internet, and first year it crapped out. So then I just ran another cable, and it was just laying across the top of the ground. Of course, that one crapped out after a while and didn't look good, and just wasn't a good plan. So now this one, I think will stay working, and even if it doesn't, it's real easy to replace. So I don't have to dig. I don't have to do anything crazy. I just plug the new one in and pull it through, plug it into the router, and I'm good. So, yeah, a little technology there. But, so I've got to paint the house this year. That, we got to do that every, it's been 10 probably since I did it last, but it needs it. It's an old log cabin, was painted before I got here, so we just continue to paint. And this time it doesn't need a full paint job like it did before. It just needs, some touch up here and there. And I got a rotten log I got to replace, which sounds harder than it is. It's just doing it. And get that all squared away. And we had, another life issue thing I forgot to mention. We had one of those tent garage things you get, you've seen them that people put in their yard temporarily sometimes or permanently sometimes. We had one of those that we put behind our garage, to store yard stuff in it and just outdoor stuff that just needed to be out of the way. We had tore off a lean-to woodshed sort of thing off the back of the garage, and then this replaced it. Well, I didn't think about it. And it's snowing and snowing and snowing, and I'm not thinking about that tent out there, So neighbor comes over. She comes over periodically, and she walks in the backyard. And as soon as she closes the gate, it's had nothing to do with the tent collapsing, but the tent collapsed because it had a crap ton of snow on the roof, which I just absolutely did not think about. Had way more stuff on my brain than that. So here we've got a collapsed tent in our backyard that's now covered with snow. We got a lot of the stuff out that we didn't want to leave out there and put it in the garage, but a lot of the stuff is still under the tarp. But the worst part of it is we had shovels and rakes and stuff leaned up against the wall. And of course that poked through the tent material. So it's not salvageable, plus it bent up a bunch of the poles. It was a pretty heavy duty thing, but you gotta knock the snow off of it. My neighbor Nancy has the exact one. In fact, we got them at the same time. They had them on sale at Costco at one point, and I got one for her and one for me, and we put them up. But she uses it as a garage, but she has this broom out in hers that when it snows, she's hits the from the inside, knocks the snow off because it slides right off. It's slippery material, and if we get another one, but I think I'm going to replace it with an actual structure, kind of carporty looking, but just something I can park the tractor under and lawnmowers and weed whackers and whatever other accoutrement like that we don't want sitting out in the open if possible, or in the garage. I'd actually ultimately like to be able to park a car in the garage. That would be novel, but hasn't happened recently. It's okay. First world problems, I guess. But that was another interesting event this winter, the collapsing storage tent. So maybe I'll just build a shed double the size of my office. That might be good enough. Just to, like I said, park a few yard implements in and some light storage. But we'll see. We'll see. The lumber prices are not terrible, I guess. So I guess that's all that's fit to report. I figured why not throw out a quick episode here, let you know I'm still around and still kicking it. So everybody have a good, however long it is till the next time, stay subscribed and go check out MikeDell.com for any latest anything. I'm not really on social media either, except for X under MGDell, and on Facebook too. I've been doing these daily fact of the day posts on X and Facebook. For my birthday this year, I got a calendar that has the fact of the day, and I thought, well, that'd be a good thing to just post on social. I don't really post anything too personal there. Sometimes funny stuff, memes, like my memes. So, and maybe next time we'll talk about politics. Yeah, that'll get everybody fired up. Catch you later.